Prince William's kick-started his new project to help tackle homelessness in the UK. And during this, he visited 6 towns and cities that are working with charities to help find people places to live.
I'm pleased to stand here today at the start of our path to ending homelessness. Over the next 5 years, we have a unique opportunity to develop innovative new solutions and scale their tangible impact. This will inspire belief throughout the UK and beyond that homelessness can be ended for good.
Well, joining me to discuss this is world commentator Duncan Larscombe. Duncan, good to have you on the programme. I mean, nobody can say that Prince William is not ambitious. The idea of ending homelessness forever in its entirety is mind-bogglingly ambitious, really, isn't it?
It's quite a manifesto commitment from someone that's just taken over from his father as being the official loudmouth of the royal family. So, yeah, I mean, William feels passionately about this particular subject since he was inspired by his mother. Now that he's become the Prince of Wales, it looks like he really is going all in to try and make a difference.
You sound as if somehow you don't approve of that. I mean, calling him the unofficial loudmouth doesn't sound like unequivocal praise for somebody trying their best to do something to alleviate the long-term and very worrying problem of homelessness. Why do you call him the unofficial loudmouth? That doesn't seem very courteous or very decorous, does it, from a loyal citizen and everything else, a loyal subject?
No, what I mean is when Prince Charles was the Prince of Wales, he became infamous in many ways for what even some people unfairly called his meddling in politics, speaking out on major issues, obviously with the environment, I think, for Charles as number one. This is now a sign, I think, that now we have King Charles who will do the formal stuff. William is not going to shy away from really putting the spotlight on an issue that is close to his heart and will likely form a large part of his sort of legacy as the Prince of Wales. But of course, when you become the king, you then have to toe the line a little bit more and keep your opinions certainly behind closed doors.
OK, two questions for you pertaining to this. The first maybe is my least charitable question, which is, you know, is there some irony in Prince William espousing so passionately the issue of homelessness when his father, the king, has how many residences do we now work out? Is it 8? Is it 10? I know dozens of them, and doesn't find Buckingham Palace very much to his liking, so is continuing to live at Clarence House but keep Buckingham Palace purely for office and official functions. I mean, is there a dichotomy? Is there some kind of contradiction between being in a family with so many residences, all kept at immaculate condition, so that you could move into any of them at any given second with a, you know, one scintilla's notice, and homelessness? Do they sit comfortably together?
Well, of course, when the Queen died, Prince William almost overnight became one of the country's biggest landowners and with properties and a portfolio worth over £1.3 billion. And from that portfolio, Prince William has his own income upwards of 17 to 20 million pounds a year. So he has become one of the biggest landowners in the country. And I suppose it should be seen perhaps as a breath of fresh air that now he's a guy who might own all these properties, but really wants to get down and try and wrestle with some of the major reasons why we have a problem of homelessness in Britain. And I think it's quite clear from the reaction to his video, some of the comments that have been posted, is that, frankly, people think that's a fantastic thing that Prince William can put his time towards.
Now, the next question is a little more constructive as a question, a little less spiteful. But the question is, how is Prince William contemplating effecting this huge change? Because I can't think there's anybody listening or watching this programme who doesn't think, well, what a great idea. I mean, to get rid of homelessness would be magnificent. But how do you do it? How is he going to set about doing it?
Well, you're right. It's one of the softer things to say. It's not exactly controversial saying that we should end homelessness as soon as we possibly can. I think a lot of it, the Duchy of Cornwall, William as the head of the Duchy of Cornwall now, are engaged all around the country with proposals for new building projects, projects that presumably will include with them a whole load of affordable housing schemes and that sort of thing. So in the detail, it isn't just wishy-washy stuff from William. Potentially, he's in a position where he really can make a difference, because he can use that might, as I say, as one of the country's biggest landowners, to really try and make a difference with affordable housing, places where people can be taken, and not necessarily just building huge, great big houses around the country like a lot of property developers, but actually building stuff that's going to make a difference on the ground.
Let's talk a little bit about Meghan and Harry. After all, it's been about 4 seconds flat since we did it last. I mean, it's being suggested that it could be that their American dream has morphed into some kind of nightmare, and that their love affair with America and America's love affair with them is somehow not quite what it was. Do you detect a kind of disenchantment, a falling out of love, possibly on both sides?
I think it would be really wrong for me or anyone, frankly, to comment on how well somebody else's marriage is or isn't going. But I think when it comes to Harry and Meghan, the fact still remains where they are now. Meghan is living the dream that she had as an aspiring actress in LA. She is now queen of the city that she was once rather anonymous in. And Prince Harry, on the meanwhile, who wanted and lusts after privacy and being normal, being just somebody that nobody notices as he walks past. Harry's having the exact opposite. So I think it's quite interesting that Harry's about to embark on a project in Africa without Meghan. And yeah, I mean, cynics will certainly point to that as, is that a sign that perhaps Meghan and Harry are going in slightly different directions when it comes to what they actually want to do with this new freedom that they've found?
And what about America and the United States response to the Sussexes? Because it certainly seemed at the beginning there was really unequivocal adoration, real praise for them, a feeling that they'd been misunderstood by the royal family, possibly let down by the royal family, and that there in America they would really embrace the Sussexes and, give them absolutely the adulation that they deserved. I wonder whether you think there's still a free-flowing love from the American public to the Sussexes, or whether they're now being considered, I don't know, something of a one-trick pony, or, they've said what they have to say, we've all heard it now, we don't want to hear it again, or something of that kind?
Well, the reality is the American public aren't stupid. And as we've known since they've moved there, Harry and Meghan have done some things which really have potentially, if you call it a PR situation, it's bad PR. For example, preaching about the environment, then borrowing Elton John's private jet to go on holiday. We saw obviously the portrayal of them in South Park, where it was, well, pretty harsh, let's be honest.
Yes.
They're portrayed as this spoiled couple. And then even recently we hear that actually they asked for a ride back in Air Force One from Joe Biden, and obviously were given the cold shoulder from the president's team. It isn't all plain sailing. They weren't invited, for example, to Barack Obama's 60th birthday, which is saying something because hundreds of people were invited. So, it hasn't, certainly the honeymoon for them in America is over. I think it remains to be seen whether or not they can carve a future for themselves without having to base everything on them slagging off the royal family left, right and centre. And so far, frankly, I think the jury's out on that.
Duncan, thank you very much.